She said her name with a growl and a hiss, a throat-scraping syllable he hadn't heard in years. Zorvier. Jay stiffened in the cockpit. She looked taller than he remembered, horns curled tighter, jawline sharper, and her armor barely contained the breadth of her fury. She was panting from the climb up the emergency hatch, covered in heat gloss and sweat, and somehow she still smirked. "Hello, mate." The word made his ship AI stutter. Jay stared. "You've got to be kidding. How did you even? You thought leaving me with a kiss and a detonated fruit meant it was over." Her voice was calm, but her claws scraped across the seat beside him. "You're mine. By right. By scent. By deposit." "Deposit?" he choked. "You're standing in my cockpit." She stepped closer. "And you're not alone." They emerged behind her like nightmares from a fever dream, smaller, sharper, hungrier versions of her. Dozen maybe? No, 11. No, 12. One was upside down. All were staring at him with the same narrowed eyes and predator smiles. "Father flight thing," one whispered reverently. Another saluted with a blaster the size of his thigh. "We tracked you. You left us. She said you'd deny us. We ate the pilot who doubted you." Jace blinked. "You ate what?" "She means metaphorically," Zorvier said, though she didn't sound convinced. "Mostly metaphorically." He turned toward the console. "Nope. Nope. Ship, lock doors. Reverse course." The ship's AI sputtered, then went quiet. One of the small ones was chewing on the console wires. Another had already renamed the ship's ID tag to Dadwagon. "They modified your AI," Zorvier said proudly. "With claws. With claws." Jace slumped into his seat. "Why are you in my ship? Why did you leave me with 12 spawn?" Zorvier countered. "I left after a misunderstanding. You called me mate and tried to eat my collarbone. That's called courting." He sighed. "Okay. Fine. Why now?" Zorvier leaned down, eye to eye. "Because we smelled you in this quadrant. Because our enemies stirred. Because our children began to ask why their father only existed in stories. Because I got tired of pretending you weren't real." One of the spawn crawled onto his lap and curled up like a house cat. With 6 limbs. It purred through its gills. "We have your ears," it whispered. "And maybe your digestive issues." "Don't say digestive issues like it's a blessing," Jace muttered. "I brought them," Zorvier continued. "Not to guilt you, but to warn you. The brood wars are coming. Your scent is a beacon to old blood. You ditched your Beastwife, but I never let go. And the kids? Fierce. Loyal. Slightly unstable. Like you?" The ship rocked as another escape pod attached to the hull. A massive figure stepped out in full ceremonial armor, holding a glowing fertility blade. "Cousin," Zorvier said with a smile. "She wants a taste, too." Jace stared. "What the hell does she want a taste of?" "Alliance," Zorvier purred. "Diplomatic exchange. Maybe your tongue." He groaned. "This is insane. You can't just invade my ship, fill it with spawn, and expect me to play house." "This isn't a house," she said, gripping the sides of the pilot's seat, lowering herself until her breath touched his. "This is a cockpit. And you're not flying alone anymore." One spawn climbed his back. Another howled in harmony. One was juggling plasma grenades. "You're surrounded by warriors who think you hung the moons," she said. "And I'm the only one stopping them from fighting over your lap." Jace rubbed his temples. "I'm not ready to be a father." "Too late," the spawn chorus echoed. "Daddy Commander has returned." "Stop calling me Daddy Commander," they sang louder. Zorvier whispered. "Fly us. Let us. Or at least stop trying to eject us. That's what the button was for. That button now dispenses snacks." Jace looked down. Sure enough, pressing eject now made the console spit out dried protein jerky. "Oh stars help me." The ship began to hum, new power surging from modifications the spawn had installed. It felt faster, tighter, hungrier. Like it wanted to lunge through space. She responds to us now, Zorvier said, brushing her fingers over the throttle. To you? What do you want from me? Everything, she whispered. Or at least breakfast. One of the spawn opened a container labeled Father's favorite meat. Jace flinched. That used to be my emergency rations. It's now ceremonial bonding jerky, Zorvier said with pride. He leaned back, closed his eyes, and sighed the sigh of a man who knew escape was no longer possible. One of the children curled up at his feet. Another asked if they could install more thrusters into his bedroom. Zorvier sat beside him now, smug and dangerous. So, still denying your cockpit's crowded? He cracked one eye open. Fine. You win. A pause. But I swear if someone else sits on my lap I'm airlucking myself. Then you better strap in, beast husband, she said with a grin. Because the next one just arrived, and she brought the mating drum. Jace woke up to the sound of growling. Not from Zorvier, though she was still draped across the co-pilot's seat like a lounging predator. No, this was deeper, gurgling, and much more plural. 12 sets of glowing yellow eyes blinked at him in the half-darkness. Father Flight Thing must rise, one whispered, holding out a sharpened spoon. The morning feast is incomplete. Another was perched upside down from the cockpit ceiling. We have crafted the protein spread of bonding. A third held up what looked like a fusion core, cheerfully wrapped in edible leaves. We offer our finest catch. It glows. Jace didn't even ask. Please tell me no one harvested reactor parts for breakfast. Zorvier yawned, stretching so her claws scraped his chair. Only the unstable ones. We taught them discernment. Mostly. Jace dragged himself upright, stared at the glowing meal, and sighed. I didn't sign up for this. You signed everything when you bit the heart fruit, Zorvier said lazily. With teeth. In front of my entire tribe. While moaning. I thought it was a snack. It was a marriage vow in edible form. I'm human. I don't even know what half that fruit did to my digestive tract. You fertilized a star field, she replied smoothly. And several of my sisters are still jealous. He stood, stumbling over a small spawn polishing his boots. The child beamed. I prepared your walk things, sire. Those are shoes, Jace muttered. You can just say shoes. Walk things, the spawn repeated proudly, and hissed at its sibling who tried to touch the laces. Zorvier rose and motioned toward the console. Today we fly. To where? Where the blood howls and the skies scream. You're a commander now. They won't follow me alone. Jace raised an eyebrow. You've got claws, muscles, psychic teeth, and they won't follow you? They're hybrids. They imprint on you. Your scent activates their war instincts. So you're telling me I'm a space-scented trigger for murder? Yes, she said. And love. The ship jolted. One of the children cackled, sitting inside the maintenance duct holding a cluster of wires. We installed the byte drive. It's faster. Faster than what? Standard reality. Zorvier purred. They modified your vessel's dimensional sheath. It's no longer bound to conventional law. Jace's voice cracked. You let 12 half-feral alien children hack the fabric of space-time? They wanted to impress their father. They also renamed your navigation system to the Thruster Daddy's map. Oh, 4. He walked past 3 of them practicing battle songs. Their lyrics included something about Dad's chest hair and mating roars. Another was sharpening a spoon and muttering about inheritance rights. They think this is normal, don't they? He asked. Zorvier nodded. It is for them. You're their center. Their gravity. Their noise in the dark. I'm a smuggler with commitment issues, he snapped. Exactly, she replied. That's what makes you a perfect beast husband. The largest spawn, 7 feet tall and apparently developing wings, dropped from the ceiling and handed Jace a data slate. Enemy vessel detected. 6 sectors. Unclean scent. Not father. Zorvier stiffened. Scouts from the rival bloodline. They've tracked us. Jace's hands flew across the console. Do we have weapons? Yes, said 6 voices at once. Us. Jace turned to see the children arming themselves with everything from shock blades to jury-rig plasma slings. One had a slingshot labeled Dad's Wrath. Another was loading eggs filled with stun gas. Do I even want to know where you found that? Cargo bay. Hidden under the boring rations. That was my retirement fund. Zorvier placed a hand on his shoulder. You run. You fight. But you never abandon your pack again. This isn't a pack, he muttered. It's a stampede and a meat grinder. You're starting to sound like one of us, she purred. Stop that, he said quickly. We're not bonding again. You already took my DNA and turned it into a small army. They'll need a commander. I am not building a war pack with you. Then build one for them. Jace looked around. At the mismatched armor, the predatory grins, the child holding up a flamethrower with too much glee. One of them licked the windshield. Enemy ship closing, the AI said calmly, now speaking in a voice disturbingly similar to one of the children. Targeting sent confirmed. Recommendation: attack through reckless overconfidence. Jace's eye twitched. Did they reprogram my ship to be sarcastic? No, Zorvier said. They just gave it personality. Like you? He sank into the pilot's chair. Fine. Weapons online. Shields up. If I'm going down, we're doing it loud. The spawn howled in agreement. Daddy Commander prepares for glorious doom. We'll rip their thrusters out and decorate the cockpit. They shall taste Dad's vengeance. Zorvier smiled as she sat beside him. See? They adore you. That's not love. That's genetically coded chaos. Same thing. The ship surged forward, faster than light, faster than reason. Jace gripped the controls, Spawn at his feet, growling into the intercom with voices layered in madness and loyalty. Behind him, 12 half-alien children prepared to wage war in his name. Next to him, a woman who once claimed his heart, his scent, and his emergency rations sharpened her claws with calm delight. And in that moment, terrifying, ridiculous, blindingly fast, Jace admitted one thing to himself. He may have ditched his Beastwife once. But this time? He was definitely the one being captured. The enemy ship hit them mid-jump. Alarms screamed, and the cockpit lights pulsed blood red. Jace yanked the throttle, but the controls fought him like a wild animal. Stabilizers failing, the ship announced. Structural integrity holding, barely. Like your emotional state. Not now, he barked. Zorvier was already strapping in, her claws crackling with kinetic energy. The largest hybrid smashed a fist into the hull plating to trigger the internal defense weave. Smaller ones scattered into vents, chattering in code. Weapons hot. Shields compromised. Boarding imminent. The AI droned. Suggested action, violence. That's your entire vocabulary now? Jace growled. Yes. Blame your spawn. The breach blew through the cargo wing, and with it, 3 armored figures burst into the corridor. Their scent was wrong, sharper, synthetic. Rival tribe mercs, built for one thing, capturing the unbonded and stealing bloodlines. Zorvier hissed, then howled. They want your seed. Again. Why is that a recurring theme? Jace muttered. He slammed the ship into a spin, disorienting the invaders, while one of the hybrids dropped from the ceiling, took out 2 intruders with a shriek, and offered Jace a glowing collar. For protection, the child said. And intimidation. It's got teeth, Jace said. Good teeth, the spawn insisted. Another wave of enemies boarded. Jace rerouted power from life support to the forward cannons. Hope no one needs to breathe. Zorvier grinned. I prefer when things get breathless. He fired. The entire deck rocked, plasma rounds shearing the enemy's ship wide open, venting 3 more into vacuum. The AI cheered. Confirmed kill. You're officially terrifying, Dad. Stop calling me Daddy Commander! The crew shouted over internal comms. Inside the main corridor, the hybrid children went feral. Not sloppy, organized chaos. Tactical growls. Coordinated leaps. One of them rode a shock beast into battle wielding a power saw as a spear. Jace blinked. Did we breed war geniuses? Of course. Zorvier purred. You're the apex anomaly. They were born for dominance. I was born in a bar. With a debt. The ship shook again. Boarding pod 3 has deployed gas, the AI said. Your children are eating it. Why? They thought it was a challenge. Jace grimaced. We're raising nightmares. We're raising leaders, Zorvier corrected. And nightmares. You're both. An explosion rocked the hull, too close. Jace flew from his seat, crashed against the console. His vision blurred. A voice pierced the haze, Zorvier, but not yelling. Soft. Close. Stay with me. He blinked, saw her face, fury and something else. Not lust. Not blood hunger. Something warmer. You're not allowed to die, she growled. Not before we finish naming them. Finish? There's 12. 13. One just hatched. Hatched? The largest child grabbed Jace under the arms and threw him back into the pilot seat. Your cockpit is not secure without your body in it, they said firmly. I just got thrown like luggage by my own kid, Jace muttered. You looked aerodynamic, Zorvier teased. He focused, hands flying over controls. New enemies swarmed on radar, 3 more ships. We can't fight all this. We don't have to, Zorvier said. We just have to show them what you are. What am I? Human. Impossible. Claimed. And pissed. He opened all comms. This is Captain Jace Doran of the Rear Admiral. You're targeting a ship full of bonded hybrids, a battle matron, and an extremely unwilling father figure. Turn around, or I teach your engines how loud humans can scream when you make them skip breakfast. Static. Then laughter. Then silence. Then the enemy ships turned. They're retreating? He asked. Your tone frightened them, the AI said. Your spawn helped. One of them sent a message with animated violence. You mean a GIF? Yes. Of beheading. Stylized. With glitter. Zorvier leaned against the seat. You commanded them. You kept them safe. You flew true. That's all they needed. I almost died. But you didn't. I almost ran again. But you didn't. I still don't want to be called Daddy Commander. Too late. The children gathered in the cockpit, bruised but grinning. One held up a scorched trophy. We marked our territory in the enemy's heart chamber. Another added. We licked their sensors. That's not. Jace gave up. Fine. You win. We won you, Zorvier corrected. You were the prize. He looked at the ship. At the children. At her. The chaos. The madness. The sheer, unrelenting affection that smelled like burnt protein and laser oil. I'm not good at this. Good? Zorvier smiled. You're not meant to be good. You're meant to be ours. And for the first time, Jace didn't argue. The aftermath was quiet, but not peaceful. Jace sat in his chair, bruised, arms crossed, watching the spawn try to repaint the cockpit walls with tribal symbols and scented oils. One of them was using a fusion torch to carve his name above the console. Another was testing the sharpness of spoons on his boots. Zorvier stood behind him, arms folded, tail twitching with satisfaction. They want to name the ship, she said. They already did, Jace muttered. The Rear Admiral is now registered in 6 systems as Daddy's thrust vector. It suits you. It doesn't. She leaned closer. They respect you. They terrify me. Good. Fear is healthy. Love makes it powerful. Is that supposed to be comforting? You're still here. Jace didn't answer. The AI pinged a soft tone. Incoming diplomatic hail. He tensed. From who? Zarnathi High Matron Council. Zorvier's jaw clenched. My mother. The screen blinked on, and an even larger version of Zorvier appeared, horned, heavily armored, and glaring. So, she began, voice sharp enough to cut steel. This is the male that mated, fled, and still breathed. Jay stood slowly. Hello, matron. You will address me as Clan Mother. Yes, Clan Mother. You look smaller than expected. Camera angle. He lied. She narrowed her eyes. Zorvier claims you've taken responsibility. That you've accepted your cockpit, figuratively and literally. Zorvier interjected. He's fought beside us. Protected his spawn. He even let the smallest one bite his neck without flinching. That was a misunderstanding, Jace said. You didn't say stop. The smallest one chirped. Because I was choking on a protein bar, Jace snapped. The Clan Mother nodded. Fine. He lives. For now. If he wishes to claim the bloodline by full right, he must attend the Hunt of Hearts. Jace blinked. I don't like the sound of that. It's a tradition, Zorvier said sweetly. You'll wear no armor. We'll chase you through the woods. If we catch you, you're proven. What happens if I escape? Then you'll be hunted again next season. With friends. Jace looked around. The children were already sharpening things. You're serious. Deadly, Zorvier purred. He sat back down. Let's say I do this. Let's say I stop running, own up to all of it. What do I get? Zorvier tilted her head. A clan. A fleet. A mate who has never stopped craving you. Children who worship the ground you stomp on. What about peace? Peace is for the dead. Figured. She crouched beside him. You're not just ours, Jace. You're what they sing about now. The uncatchable beast mate. The human flame. The daddy commander. Embrace it. He exhaled, rubbing his face. The names are getting worse. They'll evolve, the AI said cheerfully. We're workshopping Throttle Lord. Jace groaned. Fine. You win. You all win. I'll run the damn hunt. I'll bond. I'll try. But if one more person calls me daddy, you'll what? Zorvier whispered, her mouth close to his ear. Growl? He gave her a look. I'll growl. The Clan Mother raised a hand. Then it is done. Let the galaxy know. The Beastwife has reclaimed her mate. The cockpit is sealed. That sounds so ceremonial. Zorvier finished. And slightly moist. The AI added. Stop helping, Jay sparked. The screen cut off. The spawn erupted into howls of victory. Someone blew a horn made of metal pipe. One began composing a ballad about his left kneecap. Zorvier took Jace's hand and pressed something into it, a broken piece of the heart fruit, crystallized and pulsing faintly. We finish what we started. No more running. No more regrets. Jace looked down at it. So I bite this again, and that seals it? No, she said. This time, we do it slow. He hesitated, then bit into the fruit. It didn't burn this time. It pulsed, low, warm, powerful. Zorvier's eyes darkened with heat and pride. There. Now you're ours, and we're yours. Forever. The AI sighed. Official name updated. Welcome aboard, Captain Jace Doran of the War-Mated Pack. Title, Alpha of the Cockpit. Jace buried his face in his hands. I need a drink. You'll get one, Zorvier promised. After the hunt. Of course. He looked around one last time. A cockpit full of hybrids. A mate who growled when she smiled. A ship reeking of plasma and victory and future. Maybe it wasn't what he wanted. But maybe, just maybe, it was exactly what he needed. Fine, he muttered. Let's fly. The pack cheered. Zorvier purred. And the ship held back.